Hello, everyone. Welcome to the post-match review. Tottenham Hotspur 4, Man United 3, and I think you saw two teams near each other, at least in the Premier League table, for both positive and negative reasons. An absolute collection of mistakes. More mistakes than a prime Bieber, one might say, especially from the goalkeepers. I mean, you look at the XG alone, Sam. Spurs 0.67, Man United 2.37.
Yeah.
And somehow we're knocked out of the Carabao Cup even after the keeper making two fucking horrific mistakes amongst everything else that's happened in the game, which I'm struggling to remember almost everything at the moment. How do you even start to analyse that?
Yeah, mistakes and errors kind of littered the game. It was not a game of quality. There was not a lot of like, oh my god, in that. But I think if you looked at it overall, I think for the most part we're in control. I think we had control of a lot of the first half. Unlucky with the goal, with the mistake. Second half just became chaos, didn't it? Just became absolute chaos. Like we were going at them. Spurs were gifting us the game, and then we let in a corner from no. Like it was just all over the place. Like yeah, two different halves, but in very different ways. Like mental, absolutely mental.
I think the biggest thing you take away from it, I mean, you can discuss individuals, you can go through all the things, the goalkeepers, the mistakes, oh my God. And also, can I just ask the question? I don't know if you felt the same whilst you was watching it. Why in a quarter-final of a Carabao Cup, when you've got Tottenham versus Man United, a pretty big game, why have you got no fucking VAR? Why is that?
I think it's because in the League Cup, there's teams who are not Premier League teams who don't have the facilities to have VAR. So they just blanket not have it in the competition. That's the rule. Which is stupid because you've got every team left in it now is a Premier League team. So it's like, but that's why.
I mean, that aside, that can be its own kind of 10 minutes on its own. But that's usually we would go through a game chronologically, wouldn't we? We'd go through like what's kind of happened. We'll have to go through the goals here chronologically because the amount of things that happened, it kind of predicted it almost at the start, saying it'd be a barn burner. I didn't think it'd be that much of a fucking back and forth.
It was a barn burner in the wrong way, wasn't it? Like it wasn't as in two excellent teams going at each other. It was just a mess of like that entertainment.
I mean, the 3-0, you sat there thinking, "Oh, we're done. Like we're out. It's absolutely finished."
Yeah.
And then obviously what goes on after that, but we'll discuss that. Talk to me about the first goal. Pedro Porro obviously shot. Should have Bayern done better with that.
Yeah, he pushes it out and he pushes it out straight into the 6-yard box, which if you're a poaching striker, you're leaping onto it, aren't you? Because in case something like that happens, like you saw Ruud van Nistelrooy do it over the years, you've seen so many strikers do it. Solanke gambles and thinks it's going to come out. It does. Pounces on it, it goes in the back of the net. I think it takes a deflection on the way in as well, so maybe that unsettles Bayindir, but at the same time, he should be pushing it wide and out for a corner or something.
Yeah, I couldn't help but watch that. I think everyone's been questioning that there, like before. Even when I was doing the pre-match build-up, there was talks about like because they saw Bayindir in net, they saw Eriksen starting in the midfield, and this kind of rotation, and people was like, I am worried about that. I'm really worried. A lot of people were saying it in the comments section. I think that was one of the biggest takeaways for me, Sam, as well. The drop in quality when we do rotate. For example, Antony in that part of that front three did nothing. Eriksen had a good first half, but then the second half missed two massive chances and looked extremely leggy as a rotational option. And then the subs kind of highlighted that even more, didn't they, when they came on?
Yeah, Ahmad was quality when he came on. He sort of revolutionised the fight back, didn't he, in that second half, started making things happening. Who else came on? Xerxes looked decent. Garnacho, I didn't think had much of an effect, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think the other two, definitely sort of a step up in quality. I thought Leacher had a really bad game. I think a really bad game for Leacher.
Don't worry about that.
He was terrible. I think the only sort of player I can look at and think maybe two, like Agate, fantastic game. I thought he was all over the place, and then Bruno Fernandes, I thought was trying to create as much as possible. He put like 3 chances on a plate for Højlund across the 6-yard box, and he just wasn't running in, wasn't making those runs and stuff like that. So Yeah, there was a lot of sort of underperformances from a lot of players, and like you said, the rotation. Anthony just gets pushed off the ball like he weighs nothing, doesn't he? Every
Yeah.
single time he just gets shoved over, and you like, you got to be stronger than that, man. Like you have to be stronger than that. So yeah, he was really poor as well, and it's sort of justifying the decision why he doesn't play because he's given an opportunity and he doesn't perform.
Mm-hmm. I think you saw a glimpse of bits under Ten Hag in terms of individual mistakes today. That you know, you go into the second half, you're 1-0 down, and you think, right, you need a good start here. You need to get on top of them because they're there. It's not like they were playing amazing. Like you said, it was relatively controlled. We had a couple of opportunities, and then you start off, and you know, Lissandro again. We talked about Bayern Deer parrying it into the wrong area. Lissandro needs to just fucking clear that. Either put it out for a corner or, you know, he's just given him a goal there, hasn't he, Solanke? Kulusevski, sorry.
It's a weak clearance. Like, he just lazily goes like that with his foot, doesn't he? It's like, what you do? Like, just turn and fucking smash it. Like, don't, like, it's just really lazy. And then the other one as well, where he literally just lets him go past him, doesn't he? Just lets the guy walk past him and then puts his hands up like he was offside. It's like, mate, you let him go past you. It's not offside. He just wandered past you like he was nothing. So, yeah, 2 really bad mistakes from Leach for those 2 goals. Really bad.
Yeah, against Solanke, I've spoken about this on multiple occasions. His physical profile for that left-sided centre-half against big boys like Solanke and other players you're going to be coming up against, Erling Haaland or what have you, he struggled. He absolutely struggled. That was way too easy for Solanke to score that. He just poured him off.
Yeah.
Poured him off, little check inside. You can't be considered a really good defender if you're doing basic shit like that. And then to concede that 3rd goal, effectively at that point, as fans, we're all sat there saying, well, that's the game done then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Completely done.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand why Maguire didn't play. I thought this was a game for Maguire. Shut Solanke down. I thought, like he did with Haaland, I thought this is a game Maguire written all over it. Have a little battle with Solanke. So it was weird that he didn't play. To me,
and didn't come on either because Evans came on, didn't he? When Lindelof went down.
Maybe because he played recently and he's not quite fit yet. Maybe he doesn't want to risk him. Maybe that's the reason. But yeah, Leach's his duels, like his physical duels, just he doesn't put up enough of a fight for me. He isn't
not quick enough either.
Like it's worrying, man, because he had a really good performance against City, really excellent performance, and then he's just dropped an absolute stinker today. Worrying.
Difference is with Spurs in their front 4, they have a lot of pace and movement. Like Kulusevski and Son, in terms of dribblers, are really tricky to kind of deal with individually. Yeah. And then Solanke's powerful and physical. Madison can tick it about. They probably got the best attack, I would probably say, in the league. I don't think that's a stretch to kind of say that. So that's why I was worried when I saw Spurs lineup. I was like, that front 4 is going to cause us problems at the back, especially with the rotations.
I think when we come to play Liverpool, they're going to give Leach a really bad time, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a worrying thing.
Whereas Yoro, I thought Yoro held his own. I thought he was okay. I can't remember him making any mistakes necessarily. Made a few good recovery tackles. Yeah. So there's definitely individuals that need to tweak. But look, it's 3-0. You're like, right, okay, we're probably heading out the Carabao Cup here. It's done. Spurs start to take a little bit of control. And you can't... one of the biggest red flags for me, Sam, was that final third. Rasmus Højlund didn't even have a shot on target.
No.
That needs some serious work, doesn't it?
There was a couple of moments, though. He was put through... I can't remember who put him through. It might have been Garte, actually. And then it gets under his feet, and you think, put your foot through it, shoot. And then he just sort of... and then loses the ball, and you're like, what? And then, like I said, there was 2-3 chances where Bruno fizzes it across the 6-yard box, and he doesn't make that darting run quick enough to get across, because if he does, it's a tap-in. And he doesn't get there. So yeah, he was not great either. Like really sort of poor game from Højlund. Again, from having in the league game, having a good game in Europe and then just having a really terrible game in the league. Like it's bizarre. Yeah,
I felt like at times we just really needed him to drag us up the pitch a bit, and he weren't really off. And I look at that back line, and I said it in the WhatsApp chat. You've got a back 4 of Pedro Porro, Dragusin, Gray, and Spence.
Yeah.
That is a shit back 4. Yeah. I know we scored 3 goals, but we only scored 3 goals basically because of mistakes. We didn't score because of any brilliant attacking play. And you go across the front line. Antony, we already touched on him, shocking, physically shocking. You know, didn't have a great game. Rasmus didn't have a great game. Bruno kept getting into those pockets on the left-hand side. but he's not got enough pace to get when he does. You know, like carry it into a certain area. He's always got to chop back and then play it. Or I was just like, oh man, I was pulling my hair out with that attack.
I did think he created opportunities though when he got that space.
Definitely,
like, he did create opportunities, which is something Anthony didn't do. Like on the other side, I think if we had an experienced centre forward, I think we score 4 goals in that first half. Because
you draw. If that thing doesn't happen on the corner, Sam, you draw that game. You go through to extra time.
Yeah, there's 3 opportunities where Højlund should have buried him. There was a couple of cutbacks with Eriksen as well, where I think he should have done better. So yeah, there was a lot of opportunities in that game, but I get the quality in the final third again. How many times have we said this? The quality in the final third just isn't there. Apart from Ahmad, we haven't got anybody who's like clearly like a top performer.
It just goes to show when we do rotate, expect mid-level performances because the rotating, they're on the bench for a reason. I hope every single player knows that now who sat there. You can't moan about not getting time on the pitch or not, your Anthony's and people like this. You're not getting it for a reason. Just show them that game with Tottenham and be like, that's why, mate. And you can't have no complaints.
The people who like have a go at Onana and stuff like that, I bet they were begging for him to come on in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
I bet they were begging for that one.
And look, I think you have to be fair because in the Forest game, Onana visibly made a very similar mistake, if not worse, for Gibbs White. So in isolation, comparing them to, you could say, hands up, they both made mistakes. But based on actual goalkeeping ability, I mean, it's not even close. It's genuinely not even close.
You're getting beat on a corner like that, and it just goes straight in. Come on.
I mean, we'll get onto that in a moment because there's still a couple of calls that we need to go through. So, obviously, they make the substitutions. Kobe comes on, Xerxes comes on, and you're like, okay, let's see if we can, try and get back into this. And Ahmad as well, of course. Obviously, we press the keeper, Forster. Xerxes pressing him from an angle. He absolutely fucks it up. I don't know what he's doing, playing a short pass to Porro. Bruno pitches it, assists Xerxes. And at that point, you're probably like, okay. Okay, let's see what can happen.
I think I actually tweeted on our Twitter account and basically went, there's no way we're coming back into this game. And then literally a couple of minutes later, the second goal happened. I was like, oh, wait, maybe
you don't expect a Premier League level goalkeeper to be doing that, do you? That's why. You just couldn't see it happening. Then for him to do it again...
That's the second one's the worst one. That's the worst one.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. So what I was doing was, because when we do these post-match reviews, I make notes during the game so I have a reference point that I can go back to. And I was making the note for the first mistake for Foster's goal and then a couple of other little bits. And Kaylee, girlfriend, went, oh my God, he's done it again. I went, what? Everyone's celebrating. I was like, what? What's happened? I don't know.
Yeah.
And Ahmad's just pressed the life out of him like we've seen him do against PAOK, Everton. He's persistent with that, wins it. And then you're like, okay, we can definitely get a draw out of this and get back into this.
Yeah.
And then what happened, Sam?
I just want to touch on that mistake from Forrester. Ahmad is a very good presser of the ball. Like, he closes down people really well. He wins tackles and interceptions. Like, he's very good at that. And like most of the time when a striker or forward closes down a goalkeeper, it's a lost cause in it because by the time he gets there, the goalie's kicked it or whatever. And he just keeps hold of it and keeps hold of it. And you're like, what the fuck is he doing? And he has nowhere to go. And literally Ahmad slides in at the last minute and it goes in. You're like, how has that gone in? How the fuck has that gone in?
Fucking bizarre. Chaos. I can't believe it.
Absolutely.
And then just to keep that madness going, the Son from a corner. And what did you feel like? Did you feel like he was impeded? Would VAR have overturned that, do you think?
I don't think it would. Because...
Why?
The guy sort of touched... Is it Gray who goes with him? Or is it
no, it was the Swedish guy who came on, Bergvall, yeah.
He sort of touches his left arm, but he's going for the ball with his right arm. So I don't know.
Then are you not pulling him down by doing that?
I think he's a little bit soft. Being there with that, I think he needs to fight a little bit more, battle a little bit more. I think he's a little bit soft. Like, don't get me wrong, if the VAR was in this game and they would have given it, I'm not going to argue against it and be like, that's bollocks. It's fine, but I think he's a little bit soft there, being there. I think he has to do better, but like, you can't concede straight from a corner like that. Like, you just can't like that. That's really poor, really, really poor from United. And another set piece again. Like, how many set pieces are we going to concede this season? Really piss poor.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it wasn't because if you're going to jump and someone's grabbing you there, it is pulling you. So your height is brought down, and he only missed the ball by like literally a tip. So
Yeah.
that's like the gap that he was. Do you know what I mean? That's why I felt like okay, maybe VAR probably would have looked at that and they would have come to whatever conclusion that would have been. But I do agree in the fact that if that was flipped on its head and it was Vicario at the other side and that happened, people would be saying he's weak. It's happened to him again, and so I don't know. I'm a bit torn on that. I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts on that situation because it's a bit divisive.
It wasn't like an absolute grievous foul, was it? Like it wasn't like who was the guy who twatted Donnarumma in the face the other day, and he's got like
Yeah, it weren't one of them.
Yeah, it's not one of those where you're like, oh my god, I cannot believe this. It's a like you said, divisive sort of issue.
That's the thing that pissed me off though, because you know, had you've kept him out and not made that mistake, whatever you want to call it, we go and score another goal.
Yeah,
Johnny Evans scores off a set piece, and then you are. I mean, it's game on then because you've just brought some subs on. You go into extra time, and anything could have happened. I don't know how I feel about this game because I've seen a lot of people online being relatively positive and talking about XG and we controlled it. I don't know if I feel like that though, Sam. I don't know. Are you feeling miserable walking away from that, or
I'm feeling frustrated. Like frustrated is the word because of the mistakes. Because I think without the mistakes, I think we can win that game quite easily. Like I think we win that game, but I just think mistakes against any Premier League team, even Spurs, who almost Spursed it up yet again in that game. They almost did it again, which is what they've done all season, where they've given away 2-3 goal leads and chucked it down the toilet. Even then, I was like, mistakes have cost us here, and we need to iron them out because how many mistakes have we made over the last couple of games like that have cost us games, cost us goals, cost us opportunities and stuff. So, and it seems to be the same players over and over again, and I'm wondering what Ruben Amorim's thinking about certain players, where he's like, I don't know if this guy's got it. I don't know if I can rely on this guy. So I think there's a lot of question marks over certain players, and maybe not in January, but heading into the summer, I think there could be some issues.
So I've just seen a stat which is very interesting. It's more telling with us on set pieces. So open play XG conceded. Ipswich 1.46. You're like, okay, that's Amorim's first game. But after that, Bodo Glimt 0.77. Everton 0.35. Arsenal 0.56. Forest 0.54. Victoria Pleasant 0.78. Man City 0.36. And Spurs 0.30.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that it's showing they are limiting to really, really good chances. But does that really matter if you are making the mistakes that these individuals are? Because it's not one person who's making these mistakes. It's across the board. Yep. Loads are doing it. Dallo, Lissandro, Onana, Bayandé. They're all doing it.
Yeah, no, there's so many people who are like making mistakes. And then at the other end as well, in the attack, so many players are just not stepping up and taking chances and making opportunities. Like we spoke about Bruno, Højlund, Garnacho, Rashford. Ahmad's the only one who sort of stepped up to the plate. So it's going on at both ends. Like the defense people are making mistakes, and then up at top and not taking their opportunities. When you don't take your opportunities and you make mistakes, you lose games. Like it's that simple.
Yeah. Right, let's get to the comments then. Please do smash the like on the video if you can and subscribe to the channel. Adam G reminded me of the cripple fight in South Park. Fucking hell.
Adam,
you can always rely on him, can't you?
Adam, no, I am surprised you haven't been cancelled yet, honestly. Mate.
Yeah. Tim99, the squad just isn't strong enough at the moment. I mean, yeah, that's clear to see, isn't it, Tim? From what I've seen tonight in Højlund, he'll never be good enough. If you can't bully that defence, you're hopeless. I don't know if I was that strong on my view with it, but I was certainly looking at it like this boy has a lot to learn, and I think he needs to be learning from someone who's a starter in our team rather than starting games, week in, week out. Because people can say, oh, well, Xerxes came on and he scored. He's been doing the same thing. He scored 2 against Everton, and then the game after that, he dropped an absolute stinker with Rashford.
We need, like, in the summer, I think, is left wing back and a striker are probably key positions. Like, an experienced striker. They're the two where you got to be like, we've got to sort that out, like, immediately.
You have to go and get Gyökeres for me, personally. His perfect age profile. His goals are absolutely off the chart. People will say, well, it's the Portuguese league or whatever. Bruno's was the Portuguese league, and that translated over. So don't give me that shit.
Gyökeres has played in the Championship, and he scored a record amount of goals. So,
yeah.
Like
League scoring record amount of goals as well.
He's played in English football. It's not like it's weird to him. He played for Brighton as well.
Yeah. Simon Davis, but is Onana the future as the number one for United? I don't think so. I'm not necessarily saying he's the future. I'm just saying in comparison to Bayern Day, if you thought Onana was shit, fucking hell, Bayern Day is a level below that.
Why are we talking? Why is people having a go at Onana? He wouldn't even play tonight. Like,
I know.
He didn't even play.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Weird.
Do you honestly think United's problems are going to be solved that quickly on the pitch? Told you time ago, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I know my expectations sometimes can be a little bit wild, but I said, and I can show you the screenshot in the WhatsApp before the game even kicked off. I said I'm worried about this one, lads, because I could see the road when I saw the team rotated. I was like, I don't know. I'm looking at Anthony and Lindelof just going hardly played any minutes, and you can't change him, but then you have to because of the nature of the fixtures, how congested it is, don't you?
Because we've got a game on Sunday, and then you got a game on Boxing Day, and then you got another game at the weekend. You got a game New Year's Day, and it's non-stop through this period. So, like you said, you got to rotate. You have to. Like it's just if you don't, you end up with injuries. And we saw Lindelof go off today. You look really upset. Mason Mount's already out. Luke Shaw is of course out. Start having those injuries all the way. Like it's going to cost us, man. It's really going to cost us.
I find it difficult at the moment. I think that the biggest takeaway from this game, for me, is Lisandro Martinez. I know others made mistakes. I know the keeper had a stinker, but he's a second-choice goalkeeper at the end of the day. I know Rasmus is having troubles, but he's a young player. Lisandro Martinez, when he first came in at Man United, me and you both absolutely adored him. The spirit, everything, his ability on the ball, even his individual duels, he was winning. And I don't know if it's necessarily the injuries that he's picked up whilst he's been at United, the Achilles and the knee injury, whether that's taking him off a yard or taking him off a little bit. But he ain't the same player, man. He's not. And I don't think at this point he's going to have a massive future at United if he keeps playing the way he is. Because the past couple of weeks, the City game aside, he's had some really bad games and made some mistakes and hasn't won his individual battles, and he's looking a little bit slow. I think we need to go on back. This is why I keep talking about Branthwaite. People will tell me, oh, you love Branthwaite because you talk about him all the time, and da. That's why I say it, because one, he's tall. He can match anyone for pace. He's really good on the ball, despite people not really giving him his flowers for that. I know he might be expensive, but for me right now, Sam, and you might disagree with me, but I don't think he's the answer at left centre-back. I really don't.
I thought he would be better in a back three because he's got two other guys with him sort of helping him out. But apart from the City game, yeah, he hasn't looked good this season. He really hasn't looked good this season. Like, I'm struggling to think the City game and maybe one other game that I'm forgetting where he had a decent performance. Other than that, he's had question marks over quite a lot of performances. Like, I think, yeah, it worries me, man. It really does worry me because I thought he was a fantastic player when he first came in. And I thought it was just injuries at the beginning where he's just finding his feet again. But we're, 17 games into the season now? There's still question marks there. There's still question marks. I do want to shout out Ugarte, though. Like, I think Ugarte was phenomenal. He won more tackles and interceptions than any other player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Without Ugarte, we would have been destroyed today. We're absolutely torn open. Like, he was phenomenal.
If we're making a new school for Amarin, basically, to say, like, you know, these are the students who are going to succeed under this teacher or coach, whatever you want to call him. I'm looking at Yoro, and I'm thinking bright future under Amarin for sure. I'm looking at Delip potentially. I think he can do well in this. I'm not seeing anything bad from him. I'm looking at Majoure. I'm looking at Ugarte, you just touched on, Kobe Mainu.
Ahmad.
They're the ones I'm looking at. Ahmad Diallo for sure. All these players, I'm like, there's something there. Get me on that boat and let's just go straight forward.
Yep.
The others, I'm all right having a conversation about leaving behind, genuinely.
Yeah.
You know, I think in just on individuals, Lenny Yoro's game by numbers, Sam, 92% pass accuracy, 9 duels won, 4 tackles won, 3 clearances and 3 interceptions. Dealt with everything, didn't it? Even that 1v1 with Son, recovery tackle, Slowly building.
I think you will find his way into that first team before the end of the season. He will be a starter before the end of the season.
Yeah. Can we talk about Garnacho's cameo? Because
was there anything to talk about, really?
He didn't come on and like prove Amarin wrong, did he?
Didn't do anything. Like, he didn't make a mistake, but he didn't really affect the game in my eyes. I didn't really see him do much of anything.
It's well, I didn't like the fact that we changed the shape either to accommodate for him. So we was quite sad that we was, and then because Garnacho came on, we then switched to a back four, pushed Garnacho out wide, Xerxes up top, Ahmad pushed out wide, and then Bruno dropped us to midfield then. And I felt when he did that, it shaked it a little bit, and I didn't really feel. I know I get you got to go for it and push forward, but we didn't look comfortable in that kind of formation at all. So
I think Garnacho is a weird one because I don't think he could play in that 10 position. I don't think he's any good in that 10 position, and he's not going to be a wing back. So where does he fit in this team? Where does he fit?
Someone asked me before we just as I went live. Sorry, I think it might have been is it Andy potentially who asked me if I would take 60, 70 million for Garnacho right now, and I was like, if you look at it without any emotion. Obviously, he's a super talented kid, but you just said there he don't fit the 10. You can't play him at wing back. So do you just keep him there because he's talented, or do you sell him and you bring in someone else who fits that systematically?
He's young. He's young enough where you think, can he learn that 10 position? Can he adapt? Can he be better, or the wing back position, like whatever way you sort of want to play? He's young enough to do that. But I think. With the way he seems to be, he seems to be just sort of intent on, no, I'm going to be the striker on the left forward. That's what I want to do. I want to score goals. This is what I want to do. Like, I think he's very much set in his ways, and I think you've reached that point with Rashford, haven't you, where you're like, he's done, like it's over, he's finished.
Yeah.
Garnacho, I don't know if we've reached that point yet, but there's definitely questions to be asked because. I don't see where he fits into the team, but he is young enough where I think he may be able to adapt, but I don't know. I really don't know.
It just doesn't suit. You look at Ahmad, how kind of flawless he's adapted to it. He looks like he really suits it. Yeah. And both of them, Ahmad's not much older than Garnacho. Garnacho's 20, I think. Ahmad's 21, 22. I don't know. There's question marks around a few of the players there. To be fair, but yeah, give us, if you can, Sam, your man of the match for you personally.
Ugarte
in it, yeah. I think you mean Elix Sting. I can't even say it now. Elix the fire extinguisher. Yeah. He was pivotal, wasn't it? Because I almost felt sorry for him at times with Eriksen alongside him. It's like, Jesus. The old man off Family Guy?
Yeah.
Herbert.
You're never going to catch me! You're never going to catch
me! Yeah. Eriksen next to him, I was like, like when he's dragging his dog? His dog's that old, and he's like, oh my God. I'm like, please get Cobby in next to him there. Give him some legs, because he was covering the ground for Eriksen as well. But very important in it to the system.
Just looking at Ugarte going, look at those muscly arms you got, boy. Yeah. Look at those arms.
Get back here.
Yeah.
Not seen the paper boy lately. Just wondering when he gonna come.
Get back here, you fat bastard. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. I like, you know what? Eriksen had a good first half, though. I will say that. I think he made some great passes. I thought he was decisive in sort of the cutbacks and stuff like that. But yeah, I think he just trailed off in the second half, didn't he? His legs sort of fell off.
A random guy with the newspaper headline here. Our butcher chopped our chances of winning with his defence. Perfectly put. Yeah. 2 out of 10 for both Lissandro and the butcher's running around with a bread knife. Andy's just said.
Do you remember the plastic scissors that you used to give to kids so they don't cut themselves?
Yeah.
He's got a knife that's made of that, isn't it? It's just like, so he can't hurt himself. He's like, yeah, have that, mate. Just don't stab yourself.
He's not the butcher. He's definitely not the butcher at the minute. I don't know if you have a general ranking system in butcherism, whatever the fuck you call it. I don't know what you call it. But he's not the butcher at the minute. But then again, who do you drop him for? I thought Maz today. I like Maz in those left-sided or right-sided centre half.
Yeah.
But he looked knackered today.
He's
looked
played
absolutely
so many games though, hasn't he? He's played like what?
Yeah.
Nearly every
Why
game.
Did he start? I would have started Anthony at wing back. I would have dropped Maz.
Malacia was on the bench.
Yeah.
Put him on. I don't understand.
Bizarre. I'm going to give my man of the match to Ugarte. I mean, I'll give it to Ugarte, but Ahmad coming on again. I've just seen his stats within 35 minutes, 1 goal, 1 assist, 23 touches, 8 out of 10 passes completed, 2 chances created.
Magic.
That is madness, isn't it? He is a magic kid.
I think you've got to definitely give Yoro a shout as well. I think Ugarte definitely gets it, but I think Yoro's a close second as well. I think
Yeah. We'll go with Manuel Ugarte. Leave your man of the match in the comments section. This has been the review for Tottenham versus Man United. We've lost 4-3. We are out of the Carabao Cup. Some people have taken some positives from it. I see quite a few negatives with the teams, but pros and cons is going to land tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And we'll also have the press conference coverage. We'll also have Premier League predictions. We've got loads of stuff coming up on the channel. The preview as well. My God.
Preview.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So it's going to be busy. So do turn on notification bell if you can, just so when we do go live, it'll notify you. Check us out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. And hopefully I'll see you guys at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Try and sleep tonight if you can, without thinking about those mistakes. And me and Sam will see you in a bit.
Peace.